Oh no, here comes Scorpio. Here they are. And it's September, Scorpio. Welcome to your September 2019 General Tarot Reading. Thanks for joining me at this moment in space and time for Scorpio Sun, Moon, Rising, Uranus, Venus, Mercury. Hey, welcome everybody, even cross-watching for Scorpio. You're most welcome here. And thanks again for being here. Remember, these are general readings for the sign of Scorpio. Take what applies, spit out the rest, okay? And please do set your intention on that other person, that thing, whatever it is. You know, you guys do your end, the intuitive connection, and we'll take a walk through the tarot. What we're starting out this month is with an oracle card for a theme for the reading. We're going to get that out for you, jump right into some tarot. There will be romance angels, a poker hand, and some different stuff going on towards the end of the video. So, all right, here we go. Scorpio, nice. Here's your theme of the reading. Very nice card here. We've got the sign of freedom, of liberation up here for you for your power oracle. If it'll stay there. There it is. And look, some yin-yang energy, some polarity going on, okay? And it's tough because there's a part of that inside that loves to feel unbounded and free, and yet there's that part on the inside where it's like, I enjoy the responsibilities of being accountable to others and in loving relationships with others. And that line is always kind of like moving. It's flowing like a little fish. So as we look at our liberties, maybe through love, looks like a big heart kind of in the background there. Maybe it's the love itself that's that liberating energy. For others of you, maybe it's like that stand, that initiative, that independence that is sort of the goal or the form that the liberation is feeling most right for you. Our Scorpios, again, have been feeling some sort of divide, depending on your astrology, since 2017. Hopefully, you're all taking very good care of yourselves. And hopefully, a lot of you are feeling unbounded and free, because this month feels like a bit of a pressure cooker for you, Scorpio. It's like there are timelines, there are deadlines, there are people and situations that require your attention. The Queen of Cups jumped out. So, that said, with all the coolness going on in the Virgo season, for you, Scorpio, this could be a time to really allow your intuition and practice using your intuition as the talisman, of the guiding light, the guiding post to those steps that you are taking, whether you're slowly trotting or galloping full forward towards freedom. There we got another horsey out there, just as I said that. So some of you actually, you may just be trotting along. You may just being like, well, not moving and not having to deal, maybe just kind of staying idle, is allowing the time and your space to free itself up for you for whatever nature of endeavors, Scorpio, that you like. You're into all kinds of things. Whatever tickles your fancy this month may easily change. And the sort of the diversity and the dynamics of the changing of the year and the changing of your mind, your interests, all of that playing into it. How it's like we might have opened up too many cans of stuff for and we're like, oh my goodness, we opened up all this stuff. Or it's like when you order sushi from the tablet and you order way too much before it gets there, and then the sushi just keeps coming and coming. Oh, that's tough. It's like so it can feel like a little bit of a pressure cooker for you this month, I feel, Scorpio. Wishing everybody in the chat room the best in all things. Peace, prosperity, abundance, joy, bliss, prosperity. Okay, happiness, truth, wealth, all that good health, right? Every time. Here they come, Scorpio. Here comes your spread for this month. All right. Thanks again for being here. Overall energy at the bottom of the It's been a little bit tough, Scorpio. It's going to be a little bit tough. You're going to have to make sure that you're not creating unnecessary dialogue with yourself about potential timelines, future outcomes, things like that, because it could be like kind of taking in or taking away time from your restfulness, from your peacefulness, things of that nature. Some of you might just be overthinking things too, just because they might be deeply rooted in the past. They might have a lot to do with your current state, and it's like you're worried, like things like honor, things like integrity, understanding, all of this stuff. but it kind of feels like a mixed bowl of, like I said, too many cans. You're dumping it all into one pot. It feels like a really mixed bag. So the mind could be having a real tough time this month, Scorpio, trying to make sense of it all in any sort of way that leaves you with any answers. Best way to overcome this, sit down with pen and paper. Instead of fantasizing before bedtime, whether that's TV or movies or Netflix or whatever you do, and as well, make sure that those steps that you take in your hours before rest are ones that are helping the conscious mind just kind of dump it all out, write it all down. Whether you return to it or not is a moot point. It doesn't matter. But it's like this sort of stuff where it's like when you think about it, it's like, is this necessary? You don't even have time because it's like a bit of a freight train. The one thought leads to the next one, and it's like it's giving you the right-left combo. What are you going to do, Scorpio? Well, it's like almost like being bullied by these thoughts that you have about these potentials of outcomes rather than, you don't need to solve these problems at bedtime, but you should at least at some point in the day have done like a captain's log or at least put some stuff down. So it's like, all right, well, A, B, and C, well, there's no point in worrying about D because A and B, if A and B don't happen, then C and D are purely fictional anyways. The mindset, that Nine of Swords let me know that it's a lot about head and future space. So be on guard for certain anxieties and things during this time, okay? Nine of Pentacles up here at the root, okay, at the core. So that's all right. Ask for time. Take the time you need. Along with this Freedom card, the Nine of Pentacles is one of the biggest cards in the deck in regards to personal freedoms, personal liberties, living life the way that you want to live it, being unbounded and free, all right? But again, you want to make sure that your happiness is not being jeopardized because it's very tough. Sometimes the things we accumulate in one lifetime and then we wake up the next lifetime and we're like, whoa, maybe, especially for our moons in Scorpio, it's like feeling any sort of financial instability. There could be larger karmic realizations or at least things at work here as to why things are the way things are. So ask your spiritual team, ask your guides, your angels, your ancestors, whatever you subscribe to actually help you out with this sort of stuff. So you may come to new understandings or simple new inspirations and thoughts that alleviate worry. They alleviate some of that pressure that you put on yourself, being like, well, am I going to be able to do it? Am I going to be able to make everyone happy? Is everyone going to be okay with what I'm doing? Well, who cares, Charlie? Because you're here in this liberation cycle, in this freedom. Recent transformations for our Scorpios are about liberty. They're about enjoying the time of the destiny in your life. Or like the lady in the garden, she very much enjoys her time there. There's no need to clutter this up with social situations and things of that nature that are just like a major monolithic distraction at this time, okay? Double nines up here, Scorpio. So a lot of changes coming up for our Scorpios. Again, it's like this cyclical or ever transformative sign that you guys are born under. That it almost doesn't allow for a good night's sleep. There's all of a sudden, whoop, things are changing again. They're going on in their own way. And it's like you're adapting. But how much are you adapting for your personal freedom versus as appeasing those that are around you? It can be very tough. And those are sort of the balances or the things to keep in check. This flipped out, and now it appears reversal in your sacral shock and your creativity. It centered this Prince of Pentacles, and it's a little bit reversed now. So maybe it's time for some of you to really get going on creative projects, to give yourself a kick in the butt as well about what you're going to do with your time, your investments, and your monies at this time. Some of our Scorpios could be feeling like, well, I had this long-term plan to do this, but I just never really got around to it this year. I had all this money put away. Now, do you put it into something else? Do you open up another can of worms? I would say at this time, I would advise against it. If it was like, if you've got too many new ideas that you've invested a little bit here, a little bit over there, and some over there, and it's like, well, you spend an hour doing this, and you're like, oh, well, that's not so much, and so then you jump back into this thing. You want to be careful that you really kind of analytically set out what is best for you, what you enjoy the most, what you want the most, or which work, which efforts inspire liberation, can lead to liberation for you, maybe even on a financial level, but as well for a creativity and getting your message out into the world, whether, Scorpio, it be artistic or scientific or whatever it is for you, about getting that out. Don't worry about the timeliness of it. Things are meant to move for you. Like I said, there's larger karmic things at work here in your everyday realities, okay? And it's about the decisions that you make for your freedom and for the people in your livelihood versus the decisions you decide not to make. Like I said, some of you may have felt this thing where it's like, I didn't get it all done. I didn't take care of everything like I needed to. Perhaps your head was elsewhere. I'm not picking on you or anything, Scorpio, but perhaps it just didn't, you didn't have all your ducks in a row by the time you needed to act on something. And now it's like you're waiting for a next window, or you're waiting for a new time. Or again, your source is actually asking you to go back, put the lids on some of this stuff, okay? If you're not out fishing with Uncle Jake, you don't need that stuff. If you're not out, breaking hearts or kicking butt and taking names, well, then you don't have to be into that stuff. You may just be simply as well at this time telling friends, like, it's not a good time for me to be starting something new. And for relationships, Scorpio, be well advised. It could be a very difficult time for you to start something new. And that's kind of, if you don't feel down about that, because it's meant to be. There's meant to be this space, this time that you have aside for yourself through this karmic destiny of like togetherness versus liberation from like this deep level of emotional sharing. Okay, more pentacles. Pentacles for days up here. For some of our Scorpios, this is about finding the best way to rake in the cold hard cash, to about make the most for your efforts, make the most for your investments. Some of you will be looking, maybe you're rearranging investments at this time. Others of you, again, with this Eight of Pentacles, you're just having to like maybe even a return to work for some of our Scorpios, a return to focus. Of course, we're in a back to school month, so this makes sense for any of our younger Scorpios that are viewing. The willpower to actually get in and go in it with the discipline, okay? Being able to see down the road without Nine of Pentacles, about sweating the technique or worrying about how to get there. Let today's conscious work be the proof in the pudding that you're on. It's like the old, you rest better when you've done an honest day's work sort of thing, Scorpio. It can be very much about that. Just knowing and telling yourself that, I did the best I could today, and Source isn't going to give me anything that is ever really going to be overly too much for me. As though you might be into like situations where you're having to like take a smaller approach on things, like chunk it out, they call it, where it's like, don't worry if you have to write a 30-page paper or presentation, don't see it like that. See it as one page at a time, one slide at a time, and put your sort of signature on that, or whatever it is that you're doing. Some of you could be in situations where the closer attention you pay to detail, the more happy you're going to be with the finished product, and actually you may even see and creating value through the intrinsic like attention to detail that you're giving that which you create at this time. Okay, how this all relates to freedom for our Scorpios, this is about money, 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 right? So we got Pentacles up for days here, and even a little bit of worry, being like, how can we have the best of both worlds? How can we gain our time back and run as freely as we want to, while still having the necessary responsibility, bills to pay, money coming in, how we're trading our time for that money, and about maybe actually making that breakthrough, being like, you can have both in this life, but you have to figure out some of these karmic situations. As far as love goes, hey, it's true. Love is a mystery at this time, and again, I don't see any like, you guys might be involved with people kind of like on a physical, intimate, and even passionate level. But as far as like pressing for romance this month, I see you guys just kind of like throwing the towel into the ring, being like, you know what, this fall and going into these cycles through the equinox, it's almost as if you guys are at the racehorse. You're watching you're off to the races. You're really actually going to be like, I'm going to make the most for myself, rather than getting tied down again in these social situations, relationships that lead to, they're just a grander disillusion for your bigger goals. All right. But there will be our Scorpios that, look at how this card shapes up with the colors of those horses, right? It's a little bit of a mystery. There will be those Scorpios where love is that end frequency for the liberation. They want to be liberated through passion. They want to be feeling free to love someone fully as maybe they once did in the past, or love fully in their spare time. So that the quest for that, it could go either way, but it is a bit of a mystery. And Scorpio is going to not be revealing too much about that which how they're feeling, because to be honest, it's almost as if they don't have it figured out for themselves yet. So if you are cross-watching for a Scorpio at this time, I would advise, don't push them. Don't push them, because it's like they're feeling the pressure of many things right now in terms of their own standards that they set for themselves. And they snap at you. It might not have anything to do with you at all. It might just be a situation where Scorpio may be feeling stress, burdens, work, success, all that stuff. And then all of a sudden someone comes with the best gift from the heart, and Scorpio's like, bah! Get back! And you're like, whoa, I'm just trying to help here. I'm just trying to, say hi or whatever, but there's nothing you did, right? And Scorpio, just be mindful of that sort of thing. If it's very easy sometimes to get caught up and be like, I'm in a snit about that, or that really made you upset, right? But then you go back and you're like, well, actually, it's just the pressure there. It just has been so much on the mind and on cerebral. Hey, the Lover's card, good communication with Gemini and Virgo as well. Not that this is Virgo, but Virgo had this up in the communication center for their reading as well. It's kind of neat to see that. Is Scorpio, even if you do snap at people, you're going to be quick to recognize it, and there's not going to be like any residual resentments or grievances that are left over this month. You guys are clearing all that up. You're doing very good, I feel, about not entering into any new stuff as you're figuring this all out. It's like you're having to have the strength within and the outer strength both working for you. This could leave you feeling a little bit tired, a little bit burnt out, but you know it's worth it, because there is the angelic protection, and there is the new growth that's occurring after like these cycles of transformation. Burn it down, grow it again. Burn it down, grow. I was painting for a little while, and then I put all the paints away, and now I'm writing poetry, or I did that for too long, or I was studying neurosurgery, and now I want to go out and go back and be a physicist. Whatever it might be for you, Scorpio, it's like you got to kind of commit to one thing and go for it, because the liberation is going to come, and it has this feeling of being more upwardly mobile with your knowledge, with your acumen as well. The desired state being like Scorpio's wanting to be unbounded and free in a physical sense as well. Let's go see the world, like the longingness for travel and different culture and all that kind of stuff. It's still been there in the background, and maybe it's not as been attended to in quite some time, because the physical, the mundane, it's been very pressing. For some of our Scorpios, that's an entire life path thing. And for others of our Scorpios, this is just what they're dealing with through this period of 2020, 2019, 2020. The Hangman up here, okay, again, we related it directly. We talked about this energy already that's here for you guys. You're not going to be able to talk to the guy that's trying to talk to you when it's like going, or gal that's trying to talk back to you. So you have to do your best to silence your mind here, because the Hangman is saying it's like there are many options for you, and you're well aware of it. You can break yourself free of any sort of I can't do it, or now is the not right time, those kind of limiting thoughts that you're having. It's really just a moment of take action during the waking day, the conscious mind propelling divine timing through your workday, and through your, the goal that you eventually stick to, or the project that you eventually determine is number one. Because that I see as being like the number, like underneath there is the Ace of Cups. What do you want? What is number one, Scorpio? And once you have that, then this trot here turns into more of a gallop for these horses. You'll be able to charge forward on it a lot more easily with little to no resistance coming your way, okay? But get your mind out of the future, Scorpio. Get your mind back into today. Things will go a lot better for you. And wow, Tower reverse card up here. And again, we see it, Prince of Pentacles reversed, some different stuff. Some of you are moving and maybe just feeling like, hey, I'm worried about this being the right choice. I'm worrying about like maybe a new career change, or I'm, anything, situations of the past where it's like you feel or fear that you might have did or done something wrong that dramatically is going to affect today or the future. Really let go of these fears. It's almost a little bit of leftover shadow work, Scorpio, that you're working through this month as well. The source is testing you, being like, all right, have you defined number one? And if so, what are you worried about? What are you afraid of about the path that you're going to take to get there? Why do you have any levels of doubt that are kind of seemingly or standingly, it's all a mirage? That's what the Tower's saying. The mind can play, the brain can be a bit of a trickster sometimes. It can very much build up things that are not even real, especially if the mind is in the future or the mind is stuck too far in the past. Then it's very hard to overcome that sort of stuff. So my message for you, Scorpio, in looking at all this is it's like, let that secret of what the heart wants, let it out. Experience the fullness of it in your conscious, in your waking day, okay? And no, rest assured, 8 and 9 of Pentacles is here. You're fine. Stability-wise, you're going to be fine, even though it may seem like shaky ground. It really isn't. It's more like a mirage right now than anything else. So it's very nice. A lot of earth energy here as well. We have Gemini and Pisces playing into this reading as well. But there's a lot going on. I fully understand it. You guys got too much stuff on the go. And when you put all of those ingredients, all those open cans into the pressure cooker, you want to make sure, that you're going to get it to turn out the way you want it to turn out. And sometimes that means putting the lid back on a few of those things and being like, nope, not this month, not right now. I can't, what do they say? I can't with you right now. That sort of thing. All right, let's check out your poker hand, Scorpio. See how it plays out. All right, we've got the Queen, 10 of Wands, 3 of Wands, 8 of Wands, lots of Wands up here. All right, yeah. Spirit is asking you really to set down a lot of stress. Take help when offered. When there's some support here as well. Could be coming from a fire sign, a lot of fiery energy up here as well. But don't worry about moving. I see the longing for travel, and as well, some of you Scorpios are worried about the travel, or you're worried about changing location. You're worried maybe about being too far from home, about being, whatever that might be. It's like, find somebody that you can talk that out with so that your worry doesn't compound on yourself. The freedom is all here. Look at all these wands. You just have to let go of the stress. This is about really lightening your mental burden at this time and just being like, life is a passionate pursuit. Why are we trotting along worried about the footing under our feet when we've seen, 7 of the other horses have already left the gate? And they're all out, and maybe it's that need to feel safe. They feel a little bit haphazard, and you don't like that feeling too much being there, Scorpio. But sometimes it does. It really requires you to get in there and swim, to take those leaps of faith, and figure out what you want. The dang 7 of Cups is here, interrupting this poker hand as well, too. It's saying you guys don't really know. Let's see what's up. Ooh, we drew an ace, but it's the wrong suit. We got the Ace of Swords here, so this is up. New inspiration that's needed. We need to go through this cycle. Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about the past. Get invested in present moment, okay? Alert mindfulness in the conscious waking mind, and everything will be fine. It's like having that one idea. Once you've chosen it, it's going to set these other things all to rest. It's just going to fold them out, which, what you would do with this hand is you would fold it innately. We were going for the flush here, but we do, on the upside, we get good inspiration out of it. Just make sure that, you can stay focused on it long enough, and that it's important that you can kind of like define it as, yes, that is my number one. Yes, that is my priority, and all of the things. Do I have time for them? Can they align with that priority? All the rest of that stuff. And it could be anything. Romantic relationships, work, life, all that stuff. So we've got a 1, a 3, a 8, and a 7, okay? So that's kind of what's up for those poker hands. Kind of neat to see some of that fiery energy coming through there. Okay, interesting stuff. Just now a romance angel for our Scorpios that are feeling romantic, because we did get a sense of that, right? Ooh, very nice. You guys have pulled the card of soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. So if you had your energy fixed on a person, especially if that person was maybe Pisces or Gemini, could be very strong to find this person that, yes, this person in question is your soulmate. So maybe it's time to let go of the doubt. Maybe it's time to embrace it. And remember, if it's not there in physical in front of you, remember, it's about opening up the mind to the idea of that soulmate is much more than flesh and blood, the meat suit itself. So we need to just maybe, Scorpio, very good at relaxing onto those ideas and finding that freedom with that person. Ultimately, those relationships for Scorpio, they need to be liberating. If they're feeling bound, if they're feeling like, because you're, fixed water sign, and then if they feel too binding in emotion, you're going to want to wiggle out of it. You're going to want to always kind of keep progressing. So that energetic match, it's like the liberation needs to be reciprocated. You're fine to let your partner be like, let's be together, but let's keep focus on our dreams, our goals, our purpose, and then we can come together at the end of the day, so we don't have to be feeling all of that conflict about, what we do independently and what we do together with someone in romance or even as teams in a platonic way. All right. We got the vernal equinox coming up on the 23rd, everybody. Full harvest moon coming this month. Have a beautiful, blessed September. If I helped you out at all today, please reach out, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed here yet, it's really easy. You can do it and keep things rolling, keep things running over here at this little channel. You can find me at Patreon. There's a whole bunch of links in the description box below if you're at all interested in coming back and hanging out when we go live. We do all sorts of fun stuff, Scorpio. We'll see you all really soon. Thanks again for joining me. And yeah.